Good day, everyone. Your Honor, Sir, Ma'am, and members of the committee. I am Anjelyn Delaman, appearing today to formally present my statement regarding the matter at hand. I am here to speak with honesty, clarity, and full respect for this proceeding. It is my intention to present the facts truthfully and responsibly so that fair and just decision may be reached. First, I'll be answering the questions regarding to the Republic Act 6728 or the government assistance to students and teachers in private education. First question, a private high school teacher is unsure whether she qualifies for the salary subsidy under government assistance to students and teachers in private education. According to Republic Act number 6728, specifically Section 3, teachers in private schools may receive assistance in a form of government subsidies provided that their school participates in government education assistance programs such as the Education Service Contracting or the ESC scheme. And as your legal counsel, I advise you that qualification does not depend on teacher preference but on the school's compliance with the government assistance to students and teachers in private education guidelines and its accredited status under PAC. If your school participates in ESC or other approved program, you may legally receive the subsidy. You are entitled to transparent information about your eligibility as mandated by RA 6728. Second question. Student under the ESC program was denied renewal. What action can you take? Okay, according to RA 6728 and its implementing rules, ESC grants are renewable yearly as long as the student meets the retention guidelines set by the PAC. As the student's lawyer, I will demand due process and require the school to provide the written basis for non-renewal. If the criteria were not clearly communicated or were applied unfairly, we can file a formal complaint with the Private Education Assistance Committee or the PAC for review and reinstatement of a student's grant. Okay, let's proceed with the question 3. A private school failed to remit ESC funds properly. What legal steps should be taken? According to the RA 6728, government subsidies must be used exclusively for educational assistance programs. Misuse of ESC funds constitutes a violation of Section 8 on proper fund utilization. The legal step is to file a report with PAC and DepEd. An audit may be conducted and administrative sanctions, including suspension of government assistance to student and teacher in private education participation, may follow. Criminal liability may also apply in cases of fund misuse. Fourth question, a teacher claims discrimination because the subsidy was delayed. What remedy is available? According to Republic Act 6728, subsidy releases must follow a uniform and transparent process. If a delay affects only selected teachers, this may constitute unequal treatment. As counsel, I will file a written grievance with PAC and recommend mediation to ensure full and timely payment. If discrimination can be proven, administrative charges may also be pursued. Okay, let's proceed to the fifth question. Parents complain about unclear ESC guidelines. How would you interpret the law for them? According to RA 6728, parents and students have the right to full disclosure of ESC policies, including selection, retention, and benefit conditions. And as counsel, I will explain that the ESC program exists to ensure access to private education for financially disadvantaged but deserving students. I will guide parents through the PAC manual and require the school to conduct orientation as mandated. Okay, moving on to the sixth question. A student transferred mid-year. Can they still avail government assistance to students and teachers in private education? Okay, according to PAC guidelines under RA 6728, ESC grants are school-based and non-transferable mid-year. Thus, the student cannot automatically bring the subsidy to another school except under special circumstances such as school closure. The legal advice is to file a transfer appeal with PAC, but approval is not guaranteed. Let's proceed to the seventh question. The principal used government assistance to students and teachers in private education. Funds for school renovation. Is this legal? According to RA 6728, ESC and government assistance to students and teachers in private education funds may be used solely for tuition, subsidies, and teacher assistance. Using funds for renovation is violation, and as counsel, I will initiate fund investigation, demand liquidation reports, and request administrative sanctions against the principal for misappropriation. Eighth question. How does RA 6728 ensure equitable access to education for poor but deserving students? According to RA 6728, the ESC and subsidy programs are designed to assist financially disadvantaged learners by giving them access to quality private education. This law promotes equity by directing government resources toward marginalized sectors through subsidies and vouchers. The ninth one, how should teachers uphold transparency in subsidy programs as part of PPST ethics? Okay, according to PPST Domain 6 and Republic Act No. 6728, teachers must maintain integrity and transparency by informing learners and parents about subsidy rules, ensuring accurate records, and avoiding favoritism in endorsement. This fulfills ethical and professional duties. The last question regarding to the RA 6728, how does participation in government assistance to students and teachers in private education relate to teachers' CPD on equity and fairness? According to RA 10912 and the principles of RA 6728, teachers must be continuously improve their understanding of equity and education. Participating in government assistance to students and teachers in private education programs exposes teachers to issues of access, fairness, and justice, core competencies in CPD training and professional growth. And that's all for the answers regarding to the questions on the RA 6728. Now let's proceed in answering the questions regarding to the Republic Act No. 8545 or the Expanded Government Assistance to Students and Teachers in Private Education. First, how does the RA 8545 expand opportunities compared to RA 6728? Okay, according to RA 8545, Sections 2 and 3, the Expanded government assistance to students and teachers in private education program increases funding, expands coverage to additional grade levels including senior high, and strengthens PAC's oversights. The law broadens access to both students and teachers in private education, making the assistance more inclusive and equitable compared to the original Republic Act 6728. Second question, the student received double subsidies under ESC and SHS voucher. Is this allowed? According to RA 8545 Section 6, no student may receive multiple subsidies that simultaneously. Receipt of both ESC and SHS voucher constitutes duplication and violates the law. Legal remedy, Your Honor, involves rectifying the records, returning excess funds of applicable, and ensuring compliance with PAC's fund management rules. Third question, the school failed to submit report for expanded government assistance to students and teachers in private education. Can they still receive funds? Your Honor, according to RA 8545 Section 7, timely submission of reports is mandatory to fund release. Schools failing to submit may face suspension of funding. And as counsel, I advise immediate submission with an explanation, full cooperation with PAC monitoring, and documentation to restore eligibility. And the fourth question, as a lawyer, how will you explain the role of PAC in expanded government assistance to students and teachers in private education implementation? According to RA 8545, Section 8, PAC serves as the trustee and implementing body for expanded government assistance to students and teachers in private education. It manages funding, monitors compliance, ensures accountability, and safeguards both students and teachers' interests. PAC guarantees proper administration of government assistance for private education, Your Honor. Can a teacher use the expanded government assistance to students and in private education subsidy to fund graduate studies? According to RA at 8545, Section 9, e-government assistance to students in private education funds are extended solely for salaries and student assistance programs. Using subsidies for personal graduate students studies is unauthorized unless a separate professional development grant is explicitly provided. Sixth question, a parent challenges the fairness of voucher distribution. What provision addresses this? According to RA 8545 Section 10, the distribution of vouchers must be based on transparent, poverty-sensitive, and equitable criteria. Any grievance may be addressed to PAC to ensure compliance with fairness provisions and equitable access. Seventh question, what should a teacher do when the voucher program budget is delayed? According to RA 8545, Section 11, teachers must document all delays, report issues to PAC, and maintain transparent communication with parents. Compliance with reporting ensures protection from allegations of fund mismanagement. And the eighth question, a student is removed from the voucher list for poor performance, legal or not? According to RA 8545 Section 12, voucher continuation depends on academic standards. Removal due to documented poor performance is lawful, provided due process is followed, including notification to student and parents. And let's proceed to the ninth question, Your Honor. How does expanded government assistance to students and teachers in private education promote inclusive education? PPST Domain 3. According to RA 8545, Section 2, government assistance to students and teachers in private education ensures learners from marginalized backgrounds gain access to quality education, promoting diversity, equity, and inclusivity. Teachers uphold ethical responsibilities in facilitating equal learning opportunities, Your Honor. And 10th question and the last one, how does understanding government assistance to students and teachers in private education enhance teachers' CPD in equity and access? According to RA 10912 and RA 8545, knowledge of expanded government assistance to students and teachers in private education strengthens teachers' professional capacity in equity and fairness, enabling them to design inclusive learning environments and uphold ethical standards, and, Your Honor, consistent with continuous professional development goals. And that's all for my answers in RA 8545. Let's proceed in answering the questions regarding the Republic Act number 8190, Localization Law for Teachers. First, a teacher from another province was hired over a local applicant. Is this legal? According to RA 8190, Section 2, preference must be given to qualified local teachers when positions are available. Hiring a non-local teacher over a local applicant is generally not permissible, except in cases of shortage or when the non-local teacher possesses unique qualifications. As counsel, I would argue the school must justify the decision under the law and ensure local applicants are prioritized. Second question, a local teacher feels discrimination against despite having the same qualifications. What's your legal argument? According to the RA 8190, Section 3, local teachers with equal qualifications must be given preference. Discrimination in hiring constitutes a violation of the law, and I would advocate filing a complaint with the Division Office to rectify the inequitable hiring practice, Your Honor. And third question, can a teacher refuse reassignment due to RA 8190? According to RA 8190, Section 5, reassignment may occur for operational necessity, but local teachers have priority for positions within their locality. While teachers cannot arbitrarily refuse reassignment, they may invoke legal protection if the transfer violates the law's localization provisions. Fourth one, how does localization strengthen community involvement in schools? According to RA 8190, localization ensures that teachers are members of the community they serve, which fosters stronger relationships with parents, local organizations, and stakeholders. According to RA 8190 Section 2, this alignment improves community engagement, Your Honor, and responsiveness to local educational needs. Fifth question, a principal insists on hiring a friend from outside the town. How would you respond? According to RA 8190 Section 2, hiring must respect the legal preference for qualified local teachers. And as counsel, Your Honor, I would advise the principal that hiring a friend in violation of the law constitutes discrimination and may trigger administrative sanctions. The school must follow legal procedures for fair recruitment. And sixth question, how does RA 8190 support PPST Domain 6 community linkages? Localization under 8190 ensures teachers maintain close connections with their community Reinforcing Domain 6 focus on community engagement, partnerships, and responsive teaching practices. Teachers develop relationships that improve learner support and school programs. Seventh question, in case of shortage, can a non-local teacher be prioritized? Okay, according to RA 8190, Section 4, non-local teachers may only be employed if qualified local teachers are unavailable. This exception is strictly conditional and must be documented to avoid violation of the localization law. Eighth question, how do localization and merit coexist legally under this law? According to RA 8190, prioritizes local teachers but does not compromise merit. A local teacher must still meet qualification standards. In cases of shortage or unique skills, a non-local teacher may be considered. Thus, localization works in tandem with meritocracy, Your Honor. Ninth question, how should a teacher advocate for local empowerment under CPD? According to RA 10912 and PPSD guidelines, teachers can include local advocacy in CPD programs by conducting community-based projects, mentoring local learners, and participating in school improvement initiatives that empower local talent. Okay, the last question regarding with RA 8190. Number 10, why is RA 8190 crucial for building makabayan and community-oriented teachers? Localization fosters a deep sense of community responsibility and national pride, Your Honor. By teaching within their own locality, teachers can develop patriotism, cultural awareness, and a commitment to local development, aligning with the Makabayan ethos, Your Honor. Now we will go on to answer the questions regarding to Republic Act number 7877, the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995. First question, a teacher jokes with students suggestively. What is your legal interpretation? Your Honor, according to RA 7877, Section 3, sexual harassment includes any unwelcome sexual advances or conduct in a work or educational settings. Even a joke can create a hostile environment. As counsel, I would advise immediate cessation, documentation of complaints, and sensitivity training to prevent violation. Second question, a male teacher was accused of harassment online. How do you defend or advise him? According to RA 7877, Section 3, online harassment is included. I would advise the teacher to preserve evidence, cooperate with investigation, and demonstrate absence of intent or proof of consent. Legal defense relies on establishing facts, context, and adherence to professional conduct, Your Honor. And third question, what is the school head's obligation under RA 7877? According to RA 7877, Section 11, mandates school heads to prevent harassment, conduct investigations, and take corrective actions. And as counsel, Your Honor, I would stress that failure to act constitutes an administrative liability. Fourth question, a teacher feels harassed by a superior. What should he do? She must report the harassment in writing, preserve evidence, and file a complaint with the school administration or the Commission on Human Rights per RA 7877, Section 12. Legal protection includes confidentiality and non-retaliation. Fifth question, how does this law protect both students and teachers? According to RA 7877, it safeguards individuals in educational settings against unwanted sexual conduct. It ensures a safe learning and working environment for students and teachers alike. Let's proceed in answering the question number 6. What constitutes a hostile environment under RA 7877? Okay, unwelcome sexual jokes, advances or gestures that interfere with work or learning, create intimidation or discomfort constitute a hostile environment per Section 3. Seventh question, how do you connect RA 7877 to PPSD ethics and professional conduct or personal conduct? Teachers are ethically obligated to maintain professional boundaries, respect learners, and model appropriate behavior, directly aligning with PPSD ethical domains. Can consent excuse sexual harassment? The eighth question. Section 3 of the RA 7877 clarifies that harassment involves unwelcome conduct. Mutual consent negates harassment claims, but power imbalance in teacher-student relations complicates consent validity. Ninth one, what disciplinary actions apply under DepEd or CHED policies? According to RA 7877, Disciplinary measures include warning, suspension, mandatory training, or termination, consistent with RA 7877 Section 12 and DepEd circulars. Last question about 7877. How can CPD training help prevent violations of this law? CPD equips teachers with knowledge on professional ethics, boundaries, and reporting mechanisms, reducing the risk of harassment and fostering safe, respectful learning environments. And that's all for the answers regarding to the questions of the RA 7877. Okay, next is the Republic Act number 9262, or the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004, or Anti-VAUC. First question, a teacher's spouse reports physical abuse. What legal protection is available? According to RA 9262 Section 8, the abused spouse may secure a protection order from the courts, which can include barangay protection orders, temporary protection orders, and permanent protection orders. As legal counsel, I would immediately assist the teacher in filing the appropriate protection order to ensure safety and prevent further harm. Second question, a student's mother reports psychological abuse by her partner. What's your advice? Under RA 9262, Section 3, psychological abuse is recognized and actionable. I would advise documenting all incidents, filing a complaint with the barangay or courts, and seeking counseling. Teachers can assist by reporting suspected abuse ethically while maintaining confidentiality. Third question, how can teachers identify and report VAUC cases in school ethically? According to RA 9262 Section 6, teachers are mandated reporters. They must observe behavioral and emotional indicators, document facts without speculation, and submit reports to the guidance office or social welfare authorities, ensuring protection for both child and family. Now for the fourth question, how does RA 9262 extend to emotional neglect? RA 9262 Section 3 defines emotional abuse to include psychological harm, humiliation, and neglect. Teachers are legally empowered to report emotional neglect and assist in interventions to protect students or affected spouses. Fifth one, can a woman teacher file a VAUC case for financial abandonment? Yes, Section 3 of RA 9262 includes economic abuse such as deprivation of financial support. A woman teacher may file a complaint and seek court-ordered support or protection measures. Sixth question, what's the penalty for violating protection orders? According to the Section 26 of RA 9262, violation of a protection order may result in imprisonment ranging from 1 month to 6 months or a fine depending on the severity and recurrence of the offense. Seventh question, how should schools handle teachers accused under RA 9262? Schools must suspend accused teacher pending investigation, comply with due process, and cooperate with authorities. Administrative actions follow DepEd or CHED policies in alignment with RA 9262. And eighth question, how does this law promote PPST Domain 3 or the learner diversity? By protecting students from exposure to domestic violence, Your Honor, teachers can ensure a safe, inclusive, and responsive learning environment, directly supporting Domain 3's focus on learner well-being and diversity. Ninth question, how do teachers integrate VAUC awareness into CPD or guidance program? Teachers may incorporate modules on gender respect according to this RA, safe relationships and reporting mechanisms, ensuring continuous professional development aligns with ethical responsibility under RA 9262, Your Honor. And the last question about this RA 9262, what role do teachers play in advocating gender-respectful classrooms? Your Honor, teachers model respectful behavior, enforce anti-bullying policies, and educate learners on gender equality, preventing abuse and promoting a safe environment consistent with RA 9262 and ethical teaching practice. And that's all for the answers regarding to the questions of Republic Act number 9262. Let's proceed in answering the questions regarding to the Republic Act number 9710 or the Magna Carta for Women. First question, a pregnant teacher was denied maternity leave. What's your legal basis to defend her? According to RA 9710, Section 13, all women, including teachers, are entitled to maternity leave with full pay. denial constitutes a violation of women's labor rights and anti-discrimination laws. As counsel, I would file an administrative and legal complaint to ensure immediate compliance and compensation. Second question, a female applicant was rejected due to age. What section of RA 9710 applies? Section 8 of RA 9710 prohibits discriminatory practice based on gender, age, or other conditions. Rejecting a qualified female applicant solely due to age is unlawful under this provision. Third question, how does the law ensure equal treatment in the teaching profession? RA 9710 mandates that recruitment, promotion, remuneration, and benefits are free from gender discrimination, ensuring that women teachers enjoy equal opportunities in all professional aspects. Fourth question, how can schools create a gender-responsive environment? By implementing anti-discrimination policies, Your Honor, providing facilities for women's health, conducting gender sensitivity programs, and ensuring equitable access to training and leadership opportunities in line with RA 9710 Section 13 and 14. And fifth question, how can teachers apply gender sensitivity in classroom management? Teachers should encourage equal participation, Your Honor, avoid biased language, prevent harassment, and integrate lessons on respect and inclusivity reflecting RA 9710 mandates. Sixth question, how do you connect RA 9710 with PPST Domain 3? Diversity of learners. Okay, RA 9710 ensures all learners, regardless of gender, experience equitable access and support. Teachers demonstrate professional competence in accommodating diverse learner needs under Domain 3. Seventh question, what are the penalties for violating women's rights at work? According to RA 9710, violations may result in administrative sanctions, fines, and imprisonment as stipulated in RA 9710 Section 52, depending on the severity and recurrence of the infraction, Your Honor. Eighth question, how can CPD promote gender advocacy among teachers? Okay, Your Honor, through professional development, teachers learn gender-sensitive pedagogy, legal rights awareness, and inclusive classroom practices, directly enhancing advocacy skills in line with RA 9710. The ninth question, what rights do women have regarding promotion and leadership in schools? Section 8 of RA 9710 guarantees equal opportunity in career advancement and leadership positions without gender bias, ensuring women can lead schools and programs on equal footing with men, Your Honor. And last question, number 10, how does this law reflect teachers' role as models of respect and inclusion? According to RA 9710, Your Honor, by upholding women's rights, teachers model gender equality, respect, and inclusion for students, reinforcing professional ethics and societal values in education. And that's all for the answers regarding to the questions of the Magna Carta for women. Let's proceed in answering the questions regarding to the Republic Act number 8491, Flag and Heraldic Code of the Philippines. First question, a student refuses to sing the national anthem. What is the legal action? According to RA 8491, Section 40, students are required to sing the national anthem during flag ceremonies. As counsel, I would advise the teacher to remind the student of the legal duty and the importance of respect with disciplinary measures aligned with school policy, Your Honor. Second question, a teacher displays the flag incorrectly. What are the consequences? According to RA 8491, Section 38, mandates correct display of the Philippine flag. Misuse or improper display is punishable by administrative sanctions and fines, and teachers must be corrected immediately to uphold civic respect. And third question, how should schools observe flag days under Republic Act number 8491? According to Republic Act 8491, schools must hold ceremonial activities, including flag raising and singing of national anthem, while teaching students the significance of the flag, consistent with RA 8491, Section 40. And the fourth question, what is the penalty for disrespecting the national symbols? RA 8491 Section 44 prescribes penalties including fines up to 50,000 pesos or imprisonment up to 1 year for deliberate disrespect and depending on the offense. And fifth question, how does this law promote nationalism? PPST Domain 7. Teachers cultivate patriotism, national pride, and civic consciousness in learners, directly supporting Domain 7's goal of promoting citizenship and cultural identity, Your Honor. And sixth question, how should a teacher correct a learner who mishandles the flag? According to this RA, by providing instruction on proper flag handling, demonstrating respect, and using positive reinforcement consistent with RA 8491 Section 38. Seventh question, is it legal to print the flag on shirt or advertisements? No. RA 8491 Section 37 prohibits using the flag as clothing, costume, or advertisement except in government-approved educational materials. The eighth question, how do you link respect for the flag to teaching civic values? Teachers model respect for national symbols, reinforcing civic responsibility, obedience to the law, and patriotic behavior among students. Ninth question, how can CPD seminars strengthen nationalism among teachers? Through workshops on Philippine history, flag protocols, and civic education, teachers enhance knowledge and modeling of national pride. 10th question and the last question, how do you explain the law's importance to young learners? Okay, teachers explain that respect, Your Honor, for the flag reflects love for country, unity, and civic duty, making RA 8491 a foundation for patriotic education. Okay, let's proceed in answering the questions regarding to the Republic Act number 10157, the Kindergarten Education Act. First question, can a child under 5 be admitted to kindergarten? According to RA 10157 Section 3, kindergarten is for children aged 5. Admission below 5 is not permitted except in exceptional cases approved by DepEd, Your Honor. And second question, how does the law ensure holistic early childhood education? RA 10157 mandates developmentally appropriate curricula focused on cognitive, social, emotional, and physical growth, ensuring holistic development, Your Honor. Third question was, what are the teacher qualifications under RA 10157? Teachers must hold a bachelor's degree in early childhood education or equivalent, be licensed and trained in play-based learning methods. The number 4, a kindergarten teacher uses inappropriate materials, legal or not? No. Section 5 mandates age-appropriate, safe, and culturally relevant materials, Your Honor. Using inappropriate content violates DepEd standards and RA 10157. The fifth question, how does this law align with PPST Domain 1, or the content knowledge? Teachers must demonstrate mastery of early childhood pedagogy and age-appropriate content, ensuring quality teaching and learner engagement. Next one, number 6, how should teachers assess kindergarten learners legally and ethically? Assessment must be developmentally appropriate, non-punitive, and based on observation, projects, and play-based activities as per RA 10157 Section 5. Seventh one, how do you explain the significance of play-based learning in the law? Play-based learning supports cognitive, social, and emotional development, recognized as the primary teaching strategy under RA 10157 Section 5. Can parents demand acceleration of their child? No. Admission and progression are guided by DepEd policies and developmental readiness. RA 10157 prioritizes child-centered placement over parental preference. And ninth question, what is the role of CPD in improving early education? CPD ensures teachers remain updated on early childhood best practices, pedagogy, and assessment strategies, aligning with RA 10157 objectives. Last question for this RA 10157, how do teachers uphold the spirit of RA 10157? by providing quality, age-appropriate, inclusive, and holistic early education, modeling ethical and professional conduct, and promoting lifelong learning habits. And that's all for this RA. Okay, let's proceed in answering the Republic Act number 10953 or Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013 or the K-12. First question, how do you defend K-12 against critics saying it's unnecessary? According to RA 10533, Section 2 states that K-12 aligns Philippine education with global standards, develops 21st century skills, and prepares graduates for higher education or employment. The law ensures competitiveness and quality education. Second question, a school refuses to implement senior high. What's your legal advice? Non-implementation violates RA 10533 Section 3. Schools must comply with DepEd directives or face administrative sanctions including closure or withdrawal of recognition. 3. How does K-12 promote 21st century skills under PPST? K-12 integrates critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and digital literacy across learning areas, enhancing teachers' capacity to deliver modern competencies in domain 1 to 3. Fourth question, how should teachers handle parent opposing the new curriculum? Teachers must explain RA 10533's objectives, provide evidence of benefits, and engage in dialogue, balancing legal compliance and community relations. Fifth question, can DepEd penalize schools no aligning with K-12? According to RA 10533, yes. Section 8 empowers DepEd to impose sanctions, revoke recognition, or withhold government benefits for non-compliance. Sixth question, how does RA 10533 integrate local and global content? Curricula include Philippine history, culture, and values alongside global competencies and international standards, fostering both national identity and global readiness. The seventh question, how can CPD help teachers adapt to K-12 changes? According to 10533 Republic Act, CPD provides training on curriculum design, assessment, and innovative teaching strategies, ensuring teachers can effectively implement the K-12 objectives. Eighth question, what's your legal explanation of spiral progression? RA 10533 Section 2 defines spiral progression as revisiting topics at increasing levels of complexity. Legally, teachers must structure instruction to align with this approach for comprehensive learning. Ninth one, how do you define competency-based learning under this law? Competency-based learning, mandated in RA 10533 Section 2, focuses on measurable outcomes rather than time spent, ensuring mastery and practical readiness for all the learners. And the last question under the RA 10533, number 10, how does K-12 promote lifelong learning for teachers? Continuous updates, CPD, and curriculum innovations requires teachers to engage in professional growth, reinforcing the ethos of lifelong learning under PPST Domain 7. And that's all for the answers regarding to the questions of the RA 10533. Let's proceed in answering the questions regarding to the Republic Act number 10931, Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act or Free Tuition Law. First question, can a student be recharged miscellaneous fees under RA 10931? No. Section 4 mandates free tuition and exemption from fees in state universities and colleges. Only non-covered services may be charged if followed by law. Second, a student lost their scholarship due to poor grades. Is this lawful? Yes. Section 10 provides retention criteria based on academic performance. Scholarship are contingent on maintaining satisfactory grades. Third question, how do private schools benefit from RA 10931? Private schools may participate in the Tertiary Education Subsidy or TES program, receiving government funding to support students, improving enrollment and access. Fourth question, what is the role of TES in equitable access to education? TES provides financial supports to students, ensuring that socioeconomic status does not impede access to tertiary education. Fifth question, how does this law support PPST Domain 2 or the learning environment? By reducing financial barriers, teachers can foster inclusive, supportive, and equitable learning environments for all learners. Sixth question, how can teachers advocate free education while maintaining quality? Teachers uphold instructional standards, engage in CPD, and monitor learning outcomes, ensuring free education remains the high quality and accessible. Seventh question, how should universities handle violations of free tuition? Universities must immediately cease unlawful charges, reimburse affected students, and report administrative lapses to the Commission on Higher Education. How does RA 10931 connect to the right to education under the Constitution? The law operationalizes Article 14, Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution, guaranteeing access to free, quality tertiary education for all qualified citizens. And ninth question, how can CPD programs prepare teachers to teach in accessible education programs? CPD equips teachers with inclusive pedagogy, differentiated instruction strategies, and assessment methods, ensuring all students benefit regardless of background. 10th question, why is RA 10931 vital to achieving inclusive and equitable quality education? By removing financial barriers, RA 10931 guarantees that all qualified learners can access tertiary education, promoting quality social mobility and national development.